Morning all. Sitting here with my beast of dog Boots. He was just snoring like a sailor. Nonetheless, thought I'd give you a little intro to this radio install. We chose to go the cheap route and figure it out from there. So gonna see how this thing goes with the install directions and all the parts and pieces that come with it. And then we're gonna give you a little review at the end to see how it works, what's good, what's bad, and take it from there. Let's move to the shop. So here we go. Let's head inside. Get this done where it's warm because it is windy, -10 outside. And with the wind chill, it's like, what would you say it was, my beautiful assistant? Like 30 below or something like that? Yeah. Here we are, straight out of China. Here are all the parts. Comes with a screwdriver, stuff to pop the plastic apart. So their customer service is good and they tell you to reach out both in an email and then obviously there. Here is our wiring harness, screws, more mounting materials, front where the dash goes. So this should mount on here, I do believe, like so. And then the actual stereo will go right there. Here is the actual stereo, more wiring. Here is the exciting part. Oh look, we even got instructions. I'll be danged. I didn't think we'd be that lucky. Here is the way the radio looks. This baby will go on here like this. And she'll sit in the truck and look about like that too. All right, you can stop it. So we kind of looked at everything a little bit here. Got all our cords straight. I think we know where everything plugs in the back here. Everything. So I think we're going to start with assembling this. Go ahead, Eva. Oh, she loves doing this. So satisfying. In here we found there's 3 different ways in the instruction manual that I think we got to do this one right here, which includes this right here. So we think we got to do this. It fits on there very snug. Upon a little further investigation, we notice at the bottom it doesn't sit very flush. You can see that little gap here right by my pinky. These things are in the way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grind those down. All right, so we ground those little knobs off. And now this should fit perfectly flat. Wanna hold this for me, my beautiful assistant?
I'm sorry.
And as you can see here, no gap here that was there before. And now we just take these screws over here and then we'll put them in these 4 holes here, 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 and here. Now we're in the truck. We took this apart already. Didn't show you that because it's all over YouTube already. This whole unit, the whole front just pops off because all it's held in by is these. So then you just pop it off. And then in our case, we got to take out the heating controls and the storage. Yep, with those screws, which my faithful assistant is doing right now. And then we'll take it from there. This is the new bracket that came with, or the new fascia, whatever you want to call that. All right, so we're working on screwing those in and that'll be set. I ran into one more issue that my faithful assistant caught. So when we installed this part, which is a little storage bin, onto here, like so, what we noticed is these 2 little knobs were hitting this plastic ridge because the gaps for these knobs were over here versus over here. And likewise over here. So what we had to do is grind those 2 little ledges down right here and here. And now this sits perfectly flush. Before there was a big gap right here and you could see through it and whatnot, but now it looks really flush and real nice. So now we have all this set to go. Everything lines up, all the gaps look good. Now the next step was to drill out all of these plastic holes here, 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 any of those that you see. And then it was melted up here also. And as you can see here, we just cut that off. So once you drill those out, this part comes off. Garbage. Now we got to figure out this. Attached this part to this frame here. Only thing we could think of is using these with the screw holes available on the side that you can see here and here. And the same way, looks the same way on this side. We think what we have to do is we have to do this. And then also at the same time, measure the height. So they'll go like this. So as you can see here, you can see that these are too high. So we need to cut one of the levels off right here. And that's what we're gonna do right now. And then figure out how to screw these to this. And then that'll hold everything together. So now we cut one of the levels off. As you can see, there used to be 4, now there are 3. And you can kind of see here my rough edges aren't as smooth as the factory. And then you can also see where we had to kind of groove out where the screw holes are. So here and here, and we did the same thing on this one, which I already have attached. So that one's attached real well. And now we're gonna attach this to here. And the other issue we ran into is we can't get this on top with both of those on, right? So the only thing we could think of is that we're gonna bend these both out like this and bend this one like this. Then we'll put this on and that, and should be good to go. So here's how we bent it in order to fit this piece on here. And now we're gonna do the same with this right now. So here's where we're at. I had to cobble some screws together just because we didn't have them. So that's the only one that we didn't have. We didn't have one more of these small ones to put here. But it's all solid in there and good to go. And then this just fits right on top. And now we just gotta melt these down. So we'll need a plastic welder for that, which we have heating up right now. And this is probably one reason why you wouldn't want to do this at home if you don't have all of the options that a shop does. So we're gonna go do that right now. So here's our plastic welder right here. And here's the end. So we just basically take these knobs and rub them until they flatten out, until they get to look like this. Take an air gun, cool them down really quick, like that, and they're done. So we go around and do that to all these ones sticking up. Got all those melted now. As you can see, the big smash parts there. Now we're gonna turn this thing around and put these things back on. The reason why I took them back off is because they were hitting on some of the edges here, and it wouldn't allow this to sit flush to this. So I zipped them back off, and now I'll put them back on. All right, we got all the components on the back now, storage area and the air conditioning and all that. And here's how it looks from the front. So it looks really super good. Fits really nice. And now we're gonna go put it in the truck, get the wiring done. Next thing we're doing here is we're setting up the GPS. So it popped off the front here, and then we're gonna try to run it right smack dab down the middle. Where this is, stick it here, the wire will just run around right here, and then come out where the radio does right here. So we're just trying to fish that around right now. Looks like we're making progress. All right, we got this back in, and that's the way it looks now. So the way this pops out is similar to the way this pops out here. Just with these little clips like this. There are some different ones up front that kind of pull out towards you, so coming this way. So you tip it up and then out. A little prick tool kind of helps to pull it out too. So here we are with everything all put back together. I ended up running the USBs down through here. Here they are right here. We did turn on the key to test it once. And that's what you get when it comes on. Everything looks really great. Nice bright screen. And now it's just set up Bluetooth and that sort of thing, set up your radio stations, all of that. Yeah, I'm back with my good pal Boots. You can kind of see him perking his ears up there. Oh, there he is. Hey. Nonetheless, here to give you a review of the stereo straight out of China and let you know what we thought. Both the good and bad. So let's start with the bad, because I like to end on a good note. The installation. The installation didn't go as smooth as we thought it would because there were minimal directions, minimal instructions. Probably would have approached it differently and installed it possibly better if we would have had better instructions. Kind of hindsight there, right? You won't know until you know. There were also a lot of smaller pieces that we didn't know what they were for. Better directions again would have explained those and helped us out with where they should go. Could have been some missing parts also. And I guess what I mean by that is I think the kit only came with like 4 to 6 screws. That just didn't seem like enough to me. But again, you don't know what you don't know until you know. So the assembly wasn't as good as what we thought, and figured it could have been better than what it was with more directions. There were also a couple of different areas on the radio and on that front fascia black piece that needed to be ground down in order for things to fit appropriately. After everything was installed, the operation could have been better also. The Apple CarPlay was great when it worked, but it didn't connect very well. It sometimes took a minute to a minute and a half, possibly even 2 minutes to connect, and sometimes it didn't even connect at all, and I had to mess around with it several times in order for it to connect. Another negative on the home screen of the stereo, there was a little map area in there that said kilometers per hour. Well, we're in the US, so we're all miles per hour. I could not for the life of me find a setting for that to change or anywhere in that stereo to make that change. Thought I found it, tried changing it, and it just didn't work. I tried that probably 3 or 4 times. Memory. And by memory, I mean memory for the clock and stereo presets for the radio. They did not save. It was like the radio did not have constant power or some issue like that. Even though it was supposed to be a plug and play setup, it did not act like that. So no radio presets would stay saved, or the time wouldn't stay saved either. It would revert back to factory setting most of the time, if not all of the time, when I started up my truck. The stereo looked totally awesome in the truck. The size was great. The fit was great. All the tolerances were tight, and man, it just looked great. The other good experience I had with this is the customer service was also great. They helped me with every single one of those bad things that I talked to you about and gave me options on how to fix each and every one of them. But I got to the point where I didn't want to spend any more time with it. When all said and done, I wanted to return the stereo and get another one because I didn't want to take the time to mess around hooking up the Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay as often as I had been. So they agreed to that and let me return the stereo and supplies sent with it for a refund. And that's what I chose to do. Now, moving on, I decided to get another stereo, more expensive one from Crutchfield. This one was about $300. And in the next video, I will install that and we will be able to compare this one, the cheaper version, to the more expensive one from Crutchfield. And that will hopefully allow everybody watching this make a better informed decision on if they do want to save the money and get a cheaper stereo setup or spend a couple $100 more. All right, thanks all for watching. We'll see you in the next one.